Hello friends, this is Bhupati. In this video, we are going to see about Workflow Analyzer. After developing a project, we may have a doubt whether some logic or rules included in our process comes under best practices or not. UiPath introduced a tool called Workflow Analyzer, which contains set of rules defined by UiPath automation team. By applying these rules, you can cross-check whether your project meets all the best practices suggested by UiPath. Okay, where this workflow analyzer included in UiPath Studio. Just navigate to the design tab and you can find the analyze file. I have just cropped up this analyze file so that you can see what all the options are listed out there. When you click on this down arrow in this analyze file, you can see analyze project, validate file, validate project, workflow analyzer settings. This validate file and validate project is used to find out if there is any validation errors in your project. So we are not going to concentrate on that. We are going to see analyze file, analyze project and workflow analyzer settings. When you just click on the workflow analyzer settings, it will display all the rules set in the workflow analyzer tool. You can see empty use Outlook account activity, empty cache block, and also you can see on the right hand side, that is in the default action, you can see whether under which category the rules come. For example, empty workflow means it comes under the warning category. Nested if classes, it also comes under warning category. Main flow exists. If there is not main.xaml, then it comes under the error category. And also you can see there are rules, two drop downs are there, scope and actions. When you click on this scope drop down, you can see activity, workflow and project. When you click on the activity, it will display all the rules in the activity level. When you click on the workflow, then it will display all the rules under the workflow level. And when you click on the actions, then you can see the categories, that is error, warning, information. Now let us see few rules and you can understand how it works. I have highlighted nested if classes rule. That is, they have given some recommendation: avoid nested ifs to improve readability, and given the threshold number as 3. That is, if your XAML file contains more than 3 nested if classes, then it will throw an warning when you run the analyzer tool. In case if your XAML file that logic requires at least 4 nested if class, then you can change the threshold to 4. That is, you can customize this number set by UiPath. And also, the rule does not meet your project, you can uncheck that particular rule. I have highlighted another rule, that is variables naming convention. This is a regex pattern given by UiPath for a variable naming convention. So using this regex pattern, you can declare a variable like this, that is invoice number, or you can also declare invoice 1 to 3. Both these patterns, that is both these variable names, meets this regular expression pattern. In case your project manager has defined a variable naming convention must include a underscore like this, invoice number, then when you run the workflow analyzer tool, then it will throws a warning message. Then what you have to need to do is you can edit this regular expression pattern so that the variable name includes underscore. That is the beauty of this tool. That is, you can customize this what all the recommendations they given in this text box, you can customize as per your needs. You can validate a single XAML file or your complete project. If you want to validate your the XAML file you developed, then you need to click on here, analyze file. It will just validate your single XAML file. If you want to validate your complete project, then you just click on this analyze project, then it will validate the whole project. Now let us go to the UiPath Studio and see a few examples. It will be easy for your understanding. Friends, I have just used the two getText activities to spy invoice number and vendor tax ID. I am also saving the invoice number in the variable called invoice underscore number and saving the vendor tax ID in the variable called tax underscore ID. Friends, remember there is no underscore symbol in the variable naming convention suggested by UiPath. but my project says there must be underscore symbol, so I need to include underscore whenever I declare the variable name. This is to show you a demonstration of how can we customize the regular expression pattern in the variable naming convention as per our needs. Now I'm going to run the workflow analyzer file for this particular XAML file. So I'm going to click here. If you want to run for the entire project, then you need to click on the analyze project. So after clicking on the analyze file, it is listing out the error messages and warnings. The square one denotes the warning message and the triangle is the error message. First it says the rule display name duplication. Activity getTextTD display name is defined many times. That is, both these two getText activities sharing the same activity description name getTextTD. I'm going to change it to getInvoice number. Here get tax ID. Now again we rerun this analyze file tool. We can see that warning message is no more displaying now because we fixed it, and it is throwing another error message container usage. The rule name is container usage. Top level selector used outside scoped containers in the activities get invoice number and get tax ID. Friends, that is, both this invoice number and tax ID is in the same application window. Whenever you perform multiple actions in the same application window, then the best practices is to use the attached browser activity. So what I'm going to do means I'm going to include attached browser activity and indicate that particular screen and drag and drop these both the two activities in the attached browser container and remove the top level selector because this top level selector is already in the attached browser activity. You can see the top level selector. This top level selector remains same for all the activities inside the container, so I have removed it from these activities. Now again we'll run this analyze file tool. You can see now we have three more warning messages: variables naming convention and undefined output properties. First we'll fix the variables naming convention. As I said already, why it is displaying the warning message for variable names, because there is underscore symbol, but my project says there must be underscore symbol. So I'm going to customize the regular expression pattern as per my project needs. I'll click on the variables naming convention rule. Here is the variables naming convention rule. What I'm going to do means I'm going to include the underscore symbol. No number is required for my project, so I will delete the number. That's it. I'll click on OK and I will rerun this analyze file option. Now there is only one warning message. The rule name is undefined output properties. What it says is we have not defined the browser variable. So using browser variable, we will be able to identify that particular application window. So I'm going to use here one variable invoice page. So we have used browser variable. Now I will rerun this analyze file. Now we can see our particular XAML file that does not contains any errors. Friends, by this way you can cross check whether all the rules you set in your project is applied on your particular XAML file. Thank you friends. Hope this video was helpful to you. If you like this video, please subscribe and support our channel and share this video to your friends. Thank you.